Welcome back to another episode of How Safe is Our Cyberspace. I'm Chinedu Francis, your host, and we are still on the topic, how offensive security tools contribute to cybersecurity awareness, with our wonderful guest, Daniel Anyemedu. If you think that the part one was insightful, then get ready, because this part two, we're about to take the conversation to the next level. In this segment, Daniel actually spoofed the GPS of his own phone, and he exposed us to the damages that these cyber threat actors can cause to public facilities if we are not careful. Also, Daniel actually performed a social engineer attack by inserting a malicious thumb drive into his computer, and this malicious thumb drive bypassed all the firewalls and extracted the Wi-Fi password of his system. Let's dive in so you can enjoy the conversation. Let's move on to the main point of our conversation. Daniel, you said something about GPS spoofing. I want you to expand the conversation beyond just what you explained to us. I want you to tell us why attackers perform this kind of attack and why you think is one of the most hardest form of attack. And also, do you mind explaining to us what GPS is before we go into the spoofing and then why attackers run through these attacks and they are successful at it?
Yes, so first of all, GPS means Global Positioning System, and it's a satellite-based navigation system that provides location, it provides velocity, and then the time data to GPS-enabled devices anywhere on Earth. Some key features of GPS is that 1, it provides real-time location tracking. Okay. 2, it works globally. In all weather conditions, it's going to work, it's going to be effective. Now, it can be calculated in speed, in altitude, and then, at a precise time. One thing you should also know is that it is used in navigation. GPS is used widely in navigation. Even the military use it. The aviation, they use it. And then other emergency service. Most of the ships that you see, all of them use GPS just to communicate their location to those who are tracking it. For example, we have the Google Maps, we have vehicle navigation that uses the satellite to communicate real-time location, right? In the aviation and then the maritime, aircrafts and ships use location. Even in some countries, the last time I read, they said that is used for precision agriculture, which means that automated farming equipment now rely on GPS. You get it? And then fleet and assets tracking. That's also one use of GPS. Logistics, vehicle tracking, systems. Even the ATMs, right? The ATMs that we withdraw our money from or we deposit our money into. ATMs have the power to let you withdraw or to deposit, right? Even with them, they have GPS embedded in them. But the question comes that how is this safe? I can answer this by telling you about GPS spoofing. Okay, so GPS spoofing is a form of cyber attack, okay, where a malicious actor manipulates the GPS signals to deceive a particular target, okay, about its actual location. And mind you, this form of attack also has a significant implication in the various fields, including military, including the field of cybersecurity, transportation, or even personal privacy. Like I said earlier, GPS relies on signals from multiple satellites that orbit around the Earth. You get it? And the GPS receiver calculates its location time that is based on the time delay between the signals received from at least 4 satellites. Now the question is, what happens if an attacker sends fake GPS signals? So if an attacker is able to fake a GPS signal, it can overpower the legitimate ones and the receiver can be tricked into reporting incorrect data location. That is why people can steal ships, people can hijack ships. There's this journalist that I quoted. If you go on my tweet, I quoted a journalist today, David. He's a Nigerian journalist. I quoted his tweet where he said that an oil tanker was in Nigeria and at the same time was also showing that it was in Asia. You get it? Yes. This particular one should tell you that the location is spoofed. We have tools that are used for GPS spoofing. We have the HackRF. That's why I said this upon all my hacking tools. This is one of the powerful tools I have. It's like the bazooka of all my tools. Now we have the HackRF one, that is a software-defined radio that can transmit and receive GPS signals. We have the Blade RF. So the Blade RF is also an SDR device that's capable of manipulating radio frequencies, including GPS signals. Now the Blade RF is more expensive than this one. So from the Blade RF, then you move to the Hack RF. So this is the second after the Blade RF. We have the GPS SDR SIM. It's an open source GPS signal simulator used for controlled spoofing experiments. I'm going to use this for you to see how it's done right away. We are going to spoof GPS of my Google map. I'm going to open my Google map and we are going to spoof, the GPS location. And then yes, we can see how it's done, especially when transmission is taking place. So that is that. GPS is applied everywhere. Offensive use cases, when it comes to the military, they are used by state-sponsored hackers to mislead enemy surveillance and drone navigation. You can use the GPS to, lie to drones, deceive drones about your actual location, and the drones, if not correctly hardened, can fall for things like this. I said earlier that I was able to, test a drone. I was able to spoof a drone. What I was doing was that I just wanted to see if the drone could withstand the hack RF, but then the drone wasn't able to withstand the hack RF. It's a way, all of these are ways to just tell the vendor that you need to tighten your security when it comes to spoofing. Because most drones right now that are produced are using, GPS. You get it? So if you're a manufacturer and you really care and you have self-respect, then you should know that you need to protect your consumers or your buyers. Do you understand? So that is that. Now, GPS spoofing is very dangerous. You can use it to steal. You can use it to deceive individuals. If I say to steal, don't get me wrong. You can use it to steal drones. Yes, drone hijacking. I said it earlier. You can use it to hijack a drone. You can use it to hijack any GPS-based tool or any GPS tool that is not hardened. And that's one thing I like about Apple. Recently, I tried spoofing my Google Map. I wanted to use my Google Map. It didn't work on my iPhone. And I realized that no, it worked on my Google Map when I opened it through browser. Do you get it? Yes. They tell you that Apple has put proactive measures in place to make sure that someone don't use their Google Maps to, do things like this. But I believe in the future, someone is going to break this with iPhone. Then immediately Apple notices things like this, they quickly, patch it, or they quickly harden it to prevent things like this from happening. You get it?
Daniel, your explanation, the way you've been able to take us from the unknown to the known, the way you've been able to break these tough, complex questions into simple understanding. For my audience, they are the most luckiest audience out there, because we bring them the things that normally they think is magic, they think is not real, but we bring it to them because these things are real. Humans are the ones that created these tools. Humans are the ones that turn these tools into evil. So humans are also the ones that are going to develop the tools to protect the tools they created to cause evil. So from what he explained so far, Daniel, you've been able to let us understand that. Like me, I've not really looked into GPS spoofing before, but from your explanation, I've been able to understand that this is a cyber attack that tricks the global positioning system receivers, into believing that they are in different locations. You understand?
Wonderful. And I don't want to cut you here, right? But let me say something. Like I said, aviation and maritime risk come to when
Yes.
GPS spoofing comes, right? So, for example, aircrafts rely on GPS for navigation, right? So
Okay.
someone who spoofs GPS can misdirect aircraft into dangerous areas. Spoof coordinates can cause aircraft to fly off course or even crash. You get it? Even when it comes to ship, in 2017, there was a Black Sea GPS spoofing incident where ships reported fake GPS locations. Attackers can spoof GPS to redirect ships into hostile waters or cause collision. So that's why GPS spoofing is very dangerous. In the United States, I watched a guy, Malware Tech, where he said that radio is really regulated in the United States. For you to play with radio, you have to get a particular license so that you can operate it, because they are really mindful of the fact that whatever around us right now is using GPS. You get it? So if you are tampering with radio, then it means that you are likely to cause mayhem and you may be arrested and punished very well.
So, Daniel, are we looking forward to seeing you perform a real world hands-on simulation to explain
Yeah,
this
sure.
GPS spoofing further? Because you can't just only wet our throat with this appetizer, explaining GPS spoofing, letting us know that evil threat actors use this thing to redirect aircraft, redirect our shipping companies. So this attack is very, very bad. And I want you to perform a real world simulation so that we can see how these things, work and be able to understand how to protect ourselves.
Okay. That's fine. So let me power up my Kali.
Now, while you are powering up your Kali Linux, I would like to ask you, is Kali Linux the operating system for every ethical hacking expert out there?
We have a lot. We have Parrot OS, we have Black Arc, we have Dragon OS. Dragon OS Focal is for radio pen testing because anything that has to do with signals and radios, majority of the tools are found in Dragon OS. I use Dragon OS when I want to, do my stuff when it comes to radio. But then for my Kali, I was able to get this wonderful tool called the GPS SDR SIM. Yes, a repository for it. That's why I'm using it. But if I want to do something with radio, I just go to the Dragon OS. This question about Linux distros using pen testing. For me, I like Kali. A lot of friends that I have also like the Parrot OS. Some have Black Arc. Yes, there are a lot of them, but I think majority of security professionals that I've seen, they really love the Kali.
I prefer using Kali because
yes, I really prefer
think
using Kali.
the environment is kind of accessible,
Exactly. So, Ryan, I've powered it up.
Okay.
Let me share my screen.
We're about to witness a real life GPS spoofing simulation attack. Mind you, this is done in a controlled environment. So don't ever try this in an uncontrolled environment. We are not responsible for what you do. We are only responsible for bringing this awareness to you and also teaching you how to protect yourself. So Daniel, the floor is yours.
All right. I hope you can see my screen, right?
Yes,
I can.
HackerRef
transfer. Yeah, I'm going to explain this before we start. And when we talk about, first of all, like I said, this is the HackerRef. This is how the HackerRef looks like. Yes. So this first one over here, right? The HackerRef transfer. Okay, this is a command line tool that is used for transmitting or receiving signals using this particular device that I have here. Now, this particular -t GSM sim.bin specifies the binary file to be transmitted. Now, mind you, before you do something like this, you have to go on the NASA platform, then you download a binary file, okay? Then you integrate that binary file into your HackerRef. It's a long process.
Do you mind explaining what that HackerRef transfer script does, Is that an offensive security tool, and what's the purpose of that tool?
Yes, so the GPS SDR SIM is a repository. It's on GitHub. You can check it out on GitHub. It's an open source tool on GitHub. What it does is that it enables you to spoof GPS, okay, in your own controlled environment. You get it? Now, I have explained this HackerRef transfer earlier, where I said it's a command line tool that is used for transmitting or receiving signals using the HackerRef one. So this particular one over here. Now, the -t GPS sim.bin, right, specifies the binary file that is to be transmitted. In this case, the GPS.bin is a simulated GPS signal that is generated from a GPS simulator. And the GPS simulator they are talking about here is the GPS SDR SIM.
Okay, so where did you get the GPS simulator binary file? Where did you download that file from?
The NASA official site. So you go to NASA official site, you register with them, then yes, they have a lot of them. This binary file, make sure you are downloading the actual bin file, like the current bin file. Because the current bin file gives you, the correct altitude and latitudes of, the Earth. It gives you everything you have to know about the Earth, especially when you are transmitting signals of your GPS. It gives you an accurate, GPS spoofing capability. Do you get it?
I understand you perfectly well.
Wonderful. Now the -f sets the frequency. So the -f is frequency. It sets the frequency of transmission to this particular altitude, the number over here, this particular altitude, which is the LGPS band, right? Now, doing this activity some time ago made me research into a civilian, based GPS signals, okay? So we have the L1 GPS band. The L1 GPS band, in most cases, is used for civilian GPS signals. You get it? So that is the -f 1575420,000. It sets the frequency of transmission, which uses L1 GPS band. That is mostly used for civilian GPS signals. And we also have -s. This sets a sample rate, right? It sets the HackerRef into 2.6 megahertz, ensuring a sufficient bandwidth for GPS signal transmission. This -A1 over here enables the antenna. and it's especially useful when we are using an active GPS antenna. So yes, I'm using an active GPS antenna. So the dash S0 sets the transmit gain to 0 dB. What I want to draw your mind on is that this command does broadcast or it broadcasts GPS signals using the bin file, and it's commonly used for GPS spoofing, okay, allowing devices to receive fake GPS coordinates or signals to potentially manipulate their location. It's very dangerous, please. That's why you have to use this in your own controlled environment. Yes. So if I'm to press enter, and my Google Map is open in my web browser, right? So let me click on this. As you can see, what is currently happening is that GPS is being spoofed. GPS signals are being transmitted. And with my phone that I have here, the location is changing. The location of my phone is currently changing.
So,
yes.
Daniel, you mean to tell us that for the fact that you just executed this script on your Kali Linux in connection with your HackerRF physical device, you are able to spoof the GPS of every device around you?
Yes, yes.
You know, because this is a very nice this is a very nice topic and a very nice explanation, and I'm so happy that you're giving us this on an altar of, I don't know how I'll put it, but Daniel, this attack that you're performing in a controlled environment, what would happen if we should perform this attack in an uncontrolled environment?
Cars are going to be crashed, cars are going to be stolen, ships can be diverted, aircrafts can be diverted, aircrafts are going to get crashed because aircraft uses GPS to communicate their location.
So with this device, when I perform this attack, let me say close to the airport, there is a high percentage tendency that I'm going to disrupt the activities of the airport for that day. Exactly.
And that's why when they see things like this, you get into trouble. A friend said he got to an airport, he was traveling, and then they were very skeptical about the device. I think they didn't really know what the device was. Yes, when they were searching the stuff. And I told him he was very lucky because if they had known that this device is, used for GPS spoofing, to, pen test radios, yes, he was going to be in trouble. They could even seize the device. Do you get it?
Okay. Yes. But let's take a closer look at your system. Your terminal is buzzing, code is executing successfully. Now, the question I want to ask you is, you are performing this, as an attacker. You are simulating this, the real world attack for us to see. Now, my question is, why this is going on? And you are called upon as a cybersecurity expert that there is a successful spoofing attack going on. What is the first thing you are going to do, since you don't have access to this system where this script is being executed? What is the first thing to do to stop the damage that this spoofing attack is already causing to the greater public?
Shut down the GPS system in the first place.
Shut down the GPS server in the first place?
First place, yeah, shut it down.
Okay.
Yes, that is it.
So even when you shut it down, that means they automatically stop executing on the attacker's device.
So see, the attacker is spoofing my GPS, right? The moment my GPS is down, there's nothing to spoof.
Okay.
Very good. So the first thing to do is to shut it down.
Shut down the GPS server.
Very good. And the second thing to do is to check for GPS logs. Check for GPS logs to see if it is what we are suspecting it is. Do you get it?
Log files are very, very important, Log files is like the backbone for every system administrator. No, you see, no matter what you do as an evil threat actor, once I get hold of the log file of that system you've performed whatever attack, I will surely see your footprint. No matter how smart a cyber criminal is, there is always a tendency whereby their footprint is left in one of the log files. Daniel, you're telling us that the first thing to do when we are victims of this kind of attack is to first shut down the server, the GPS server, right?
Yes, exactly, because the attacker is sending fake signals to my device. and it's trying to trick my device into believing that what it's in a different location. So yes, I'll just shut down the GPS server. Yes, or if I have my way, I'll shut down the whole device. Okay, yes. Then in the GPS logs, that's what I'm going to move to next. So inside the GPS logs, I'll check for sudden jumps in location, because if my device suddenly jumps from a far location and then it goes back like front and back in terms of location, then yes, I can conclude that my location is kind of spoofed. I can even compare with multiple sources. If I say multiple sources, I can use GPS-based application or any secondary device to compare the location of where I am and what the device is also saying. Do you get it? We have GPS loggers over there. There are GPS loggers over there that checks all these things. Okay, because a sudden drop in satellite counts or unusually strong signals from one direction could indicate spoofing. You get it? So that is that. Now, companies should get anti-spoofing devices. Okay, yes, we have anti-spoofing devices over there. This RF that we even spoke about, because mind you, this is indirectly linked to RF, right?
Okay.
For critical application, you have to shield your RF, okay, or filter your GPS signals to prevent, external interference. Yes, and I like it because I've read articles where there are strong tools in place to stop things like this. You can monitor your GPS logs. Yes, because your GPS logs don't lie. You get it? Because once you detect inconsistencies, you can finally conclude that your location is being spoofed. Okay, so that is it. And at the end of the day, try reporting the issue to local authorities. That is that. So what you can see right now is that we are spoofing GPS. Yes.
So Daniel, I would like to ask you, if you find yourself in an airport or probably in a cafe, a public cafe, and a successful GPS spoofing attack is being carried out, how would you, as a cybersecurity expert, know that this attack is being carried out, and what would you do in that situation?
Please come again with your question.
This is my question. If you find yourself in a public environment like cyber cafe or the airport, and a successful spoofing attack is being carried out, GPS spoofing attack is being carried out to disrupt the activities of that organization or that particular public place like the airport, how would you know? Now, this spoofing attack is being carried out without the knowledge of the cybersecurity experts, within that premise. So my question is, how would you, as a cybersecurity expert, know that this kind of attack is being carried out on this facility, and what would you do?
Okay, so I think someone has also I know someone in the military who has also asked me this particular question before, that in public places when GPS spoofing is carried out, how will I tell? Yes, there are so many ways to tell. So one, if my GPS location is stuck in one place, despite the fact that I am moving, if my GPS, if my application is on, right, or if my GPS location is active and I'm working, but then my GPS location is stagnant, right, I can finally conclude that someone is carrying out a spoofing attack. If my device also suddenly jumps from one location to the other, let's say currently I'm in Accra, but then in the next second, it's saying that I'm in Kumasi, or let's say I am in, what's it called? I'm in Paris, or I'm in, let's say, UK, or let's say London. Just let me be precise. I'm in London. You should tell me that, why am I in Accra, but my location is pointing to London? There's a problem. So yes, that's one way I can also tell that, yes, spoofing is going on. You get it. And mind you, spoofed GPS have much strength. So in a case where there's an unusual GPS signal strength, okay, you are receiving signals from the satellite that doesn't match your geographical areas. And even with this, strong security experts, let me put it this way, security experts can tell if there is, a strong signal strength. It's likely that someone is, playing with, GPS. Then one thing that I think we should look out for, in fact, that's the basic thing. I forgot to say this at first. It's incorrect time and data. Exactly, incorrect time and data. Well, let me put it this way. You are using an Android phone and an iPhone, and then your phone's clock suddenly resets to an incorrect time. And let's say you are using some apps. Some apps uses, real time. You get it? Like there are time-dependent apps, like bank apps, stock market, authentication services. Now, when they fail to sync properly, I can finally conclude that GPS spoofing is taking place.
With what you performed on the terminal, how did we get to all these numbers that are displaying on your terminal?
Okay, so first of all, I explained the line of code, right? So when you see
Yes.
something like this, now let me clear this and start it all over again for you to see. So everything is set. Now let me explain all of this. Okay, so this 5.2 MIB per second is the transmission rate of GPS signal data. Okay, and then the negative 4.7 dps, okay, is the signal strength that is being transmitted. If these two are not there, we cannot spoof GPS. Please do get it. If these two particular things are not there, we can't spoof GPS. Yes, so that is that.
So with this information returning back, you are able to understand that not only are you performing a successful spoofing attack, but you're doing it at the correct frequency.
Exactly.
Okay.
If I don't transmit everything in the correct frequency, if I don't have the necessary power, yes, if I don't transmit the right data, GPS spoofing wouldn't work. Let me break this down for you. So the 5.2 MIB per second, right? Now, this is the GPS signal file that is being streamed 5.2 meg per second, okay? And then, yes, if you see 1 second, it means that data transmission has started, showing the first second output. And then if you see the dash 4.7, dBFS, it's just signaling the power of the spoof GPS signal. Okay, it's at negative 4.7 dps, which determines how strong the signal is compared to real satellite signals. When all of these are in place, then you are going to have a successful GPS spoofing. And yes, and one wonderful thing is that, this suggests that, especially this particular one over here that talks about at the power level, this particular one, the negative 4.7 dps, that talks about the power level. Okay, it suggests that this is a strong signal and it's capable of overriding weak GPS signals from real satellites. You get it? Yes. So that is that.
I just downloaded the HackerRef transfer tool from GitHub. I think after the show I'm going to play around, with it, because I'm more of a Linux enthusiast,
Yes.
Command line gives me joy because I think as a cybersecurity expert like you, this is what we fall in love with. So whenever you see a new tool, you just want to go in there, try it out, understand what the tool does and how it can be of good use to you. So, Mr. Daniel, you see, it amazes me so much that you transitioned from a business background into becoming someone so good at what you do that in my head, I think you're the best cybersecurity expert from Ghana at the moment.
I'm just a beginner. God willing, this year will be my ninth year. My ninth year since I started practicing cybersecurity. Yes, October this year will be my ninth year. And I'm very grateful for how far I've come, because I didn't just get here. It took investment. Sometimes when my parents sent me money when I was in school at the early stages before, yes, I broke into it in school, making money. When my parents sent me money, I pocket some and I bought online courses. Because there are free courses online that you can take. I remember the first certification that I got, computer security and network privacy, from Allison. Yes, from Allison online course, So my parents sent me money, then I pocket, I think 60% of it. Yes, I just save 60% of it, and then yes, I just invest in myself. That's why till date, my friends who time ago they didn't understand why I was buying tools like this for over $400. But then I think now they've seen that I've really invested in myself and I'm really enjoying it. You get it? So self-investment is...
You see, Daniel, you are the reason I got this too.
Yes, the right blocker.
This right blocker. You see this device. This man is the reason I got this. And I don't think any fraudster, I don't think any cyber threat actor can be able to escape what this device will do to their system when we get them, Because this device have opened my eyes to believing the fact that there is nothing that I think any cyber threat actor can do on the system in terms of wiping their traces. I will bring back everything with this device. Do you know I performed a write blocker forensic on my old laptop, and guess what? All the things I felt or I thought I've deleted, I brought them back using this device, Daniel.
Wonderful. My friend also bought a workstation, right? A fully built workstation. Yes, and we also ran, a forensic extraction from it. We were able to get data way back to 2003. Just imagine.
Do you know,
Way
I'm
back to
telling you that the
2003.
videos I deleted from my system many years ago, I saw everything. So the question is, now I believe why the security agencies that will always tell you, no matter what you do, we will see. Because
Yes,
with this
exactly.
device, this is
Yes.
what the security agency uses to get every single information, from the system of fraudsters. So you are not hidden. With this,
With the tableau, yes. This device doesn't lie. Yes, this device doesn't lie. So the rise blocker is a tool that
it
makes
is
sure
right
that,
there. So like I
yes, the
promised
tableau.
you, on this show, we are going to bring you hands-on live simulation of how these evil threat actors manipulate you and I, get into our systems, create a backdoor, and thereby, see everything we do. But as
Yes.
long as this platform is concerned, we will continue to bring you experts who are highly knowledgeable to help us in protecting our cyberspace. So, moving on to the last agenda on today's episode, Daniel has been eager. He said he wants to perform a real life simulation attack using a drive to bypass our computer firewall. So, Daniel, the floor is yours to perform this live simulation attack for our audience out there.
Okay, thank you. So I'm sharing my screen. So as you can see, this is Arduino, and this tool over here is called the DigiSpark. So what I did was that I programmed this. Now this tool goes for less than $5, this particular tool, but then it's very powerful.
Okay.
It's one of the tools that I learned how to use some time ago when my friends from the physics class really taught me extensively on microcontrollers. That cyber criminals use microcontrollers to bypass EDRs and firewalls. So yes, using my own, environment, using my own laptop, we are going to see if we can extract Wi-Fi usernames and passwords of this particular PC. So I'm going to insert this.
So this is the malicious code that you've been able to transfer to the microcontroller, right? So you wrote malicious code using Arduino.
Yes. So let me explain some basic commands here so that you understand what I mean here. First of all, let me start with this one, the netsh. So this command here is just to export Wi-Fi profiles. Yes, this command here is just to export Wi-Fi profile using Windows netsh utility. So it's going to export it in XML files, and then the option key is equal to clear ensures that the Wi-Fi passwords or the keys are exported in plain text. And then this particular one over here, yes, this particular one over here, this one over here, right, is saying that, yes, so it's just a PowerShell command that is used to search through the exported SMS files for a string of key materials, okay, which is where my Wi-Fi passwords are being stored. Yes, and the result reflects to a file named Wi-Fi pass. So yes, that is it. This one just means that I am just sending my Wi-Fi pass to a remote server. That is the webhook, okay? Yes, this is where the extracted Wi-Fi passwords or credentials are being sent, effectively exfiltrating the data. So since everything is set, let's just insert this tool. Let me close my
before
VM.
you clear the screen, you see, for our viewers out there who are new to seeing something like this, from what you have explained so far, this is actually a malicious code that was embedded using the Windows command line codes. So I think from what I'm seeing here is a Windows command line commands that are being executed once this particular USB gets into the victim's machine.
Yeah, good. And someone will even ask me about all the remote servers, why did I choose webhook?
Yeah, I want to ask you, why did you choose webhook? Because we have Bob Sweet collaborator is there, so why going on with webhook?
No, for me, I like webhook. Webhook is premium and then it's also free. Currently, I'm operating on the free version, right? So you have to know that a webhook is just an event-driven communication that automatically sends any data that I want between applications via HTTP. Okay, it is triggered by some specific events that the person may use, and it helps to automate communication between application programming interface, and other workflows. That's the main reason why I really like web. One thing I know for sure, even when you look at the scripts, is that to set up a webhook, the client have to give a unique URL. You get it to the server. So as you can see, this is a unique URL, this particular one. Yes, and I also got this special script online. The whole script, I got it online somewhere. A very powerful script. I just have to make some changes to it.
So you mean to tell us that we can get these malicious scripts out there, open source, online?
Yes, we can get it online. Yes.
Okay.
So let's just set the ball rolling. So let me just, so imagine where I programmed this. Let's say a reverse shell connection, but in this case, we are just using Wi-Fi, right? Let's say you have, maybe there's a company behind your house that has strong internet. You social engineer your way, you find this, you insert it into the person's PC, and then the person's Wi-Fi usernames and password are being sent to your web server. You get the Wi-Fi passwords and you log in. You are free to go. So let's just check what happens when I insert this. So I'm just inserting this. Okay. So let's just see what happens.
So even the malicious code are all out there, open sourced. So the cyber threat actors have somewhere they go to get these tools online, open sourced. Wow.
Wonderful. Yes, let me copy this link over here. Yes, let me copy this. So first of all, let's copy this. So I'm coming to copy this.
So this is your webhook server.
Exactly. And I'm inserting the USB thumb drive once again. Let's see what happens. The keystrokes will inject, and then automatically the password are being exfiltrated onto my webhook server. So as you can see, successfully, and everything is done. It's game over. So on my webhook server, you can see that I have my Wi-Fi usernames and then their passwords over here. One best thing is that it is even giving me the time that I did the exfiltration. As at the time this information got on my webhook server, the date and everything is over here with a unique ID, #8B78. So these are my Wi-Fi usernames, and these are the key. When you check, they are saying key material. This is it. This is why it's very dangerous not to insert foreign thumb drives or foreign cables into your PC. Please, do you understand? Because even with it, this is just one of the basic attacks I can do. I can also create a reverse shell. Maybe in the future when there's time, I'll do a live demo of creating a reverse shell with this, where I can have a remote access to your PC. I can have a shell access to your PC and do whatever I want to do with it. So it's not encouraging. And this is why I encourage most companies to just block, their USB ports. Yes, they should disable their USB ports. Please, can you hear me? Do you get what I'm saying?
I can get you 100%.
Wonderful. Yes. So this is where I advise companies most of the time doing physical security pen testing. I told them that no, I was able to insert. And one interesting thing, I have a friend who visited a bank one day and he wanted to print something. Can you believe that the staff of the bank took his pen drive and inserted it into their system unit? I don't want to mention the name of the bank, but this is very, very bad. Yes, in Ghana, this is a very bad habit.
And now imagine if that your friend is like you.
Exactly.
With this kind of device that you have, and with this kind of knowledge that you have, that means it's a game over for the bank, that particular bank branch.
Exactly. So you get it. This is why I firmly believe that companies should organize strong security training sessions for their staff. They should also configure strong firewall policies. They should also disable USB ports to prevent things like this. Because mind you, these things act like peripherals. And the reason why it evades, yes. So as you can see, our Windows Defender is on. Our real-time protection and everything is on, right? The reason why this thing or these tools over here evades firewall is that it presents itself to the PC as a keyboard or a mouse. Do you get it? So it doesn't really, your EDRs or your firewalls or your real-time defenders don't scan for these things, thereby, injecting, this keystroke. There are other stuff that you can do to prevent things like this. But then the basic one is you educating your staff that they need to prevent inserting foreign cables into their laptops. Don't allow individuals to be inserting their cables to charge their phones. if they want to charge their phones, they should use their own laptops, or they should use a correct charger to charge their phones. Don't allow anyone use their USB cables to charge their phones using your laptop. Yes, that is that.
You see,
So
Daniel, just on our last episode on how safe is our cyberspace, we spoke extensively on social engineering, and we also mentioned, this attack you just performed. And I feel happy because what we spoke about orally on our last episode, we are performing the real world simulation attack. So you see, just like an example that I gave on our last episode, I saw a movie where a prison guard on his way to work, he saw a USB device on the floor, and on that USB device there was this inscription written confidential. So this prison guard picked it up, went into his office with the joy that comes with, I've seen a free device. He plugged it into the organization's computer system, and guess what? Poof, blue screen of death. So instead of having that blue screen of death, Daniel just demonstrated to us that he can actually get all the Wi-Fi information on our system
by using this particular tool,
using this particular device
and this cable over here.
Now you see, why would you allow someone to insert their device into your system? Do you think your firewall can protect you from what Daniel just did? If him can be able to successfully write a malicious code, not even writing this code, he got this malicious code online. So,
and I made small adjustments to it.
Okay, go on.
Yes. So I got the tool online. I read through the code, the lines of code, and I realized that I could make little adjustments to it. Okay. That was how I was able to bypass the real-time protection. You get it? Yes, and I'm willing to share the script with you. I'll share it with you backdoor. Yes, okay. But please, we are not responsible for misusing that script. Yes, we are just letting you know how it's done. Yes, that is it.
So you see. Not only did Daniel reveal to you how these cyber criminals can actually exploit your weakness, but he has also shown us, you most especially, how you can protect yourself. First thing first, don't just accept or allow anyone, even your most trusted colleague at work, don't allow them to, put any untrusted device. You don't even know if your colleague have encrypted this device in order to get all the information he wants from your system.
Very good. The zero trust policy architecture I was talking about.
This is the job of a cybersecurity expert. His job is to perform the real-world simulated attack on a controlled environment for you out there to see the evil that these cyber threat actors perform on you. And he's also here to tell you how to protect yourself. It is one thing to be evil, and is another thing to be good. So Daniel has acquired a malicious skill over time, but he's using it to perform good for the greater purpose of, a better cyberspace. This has been an interesting episode, you've successfully educated us on the importance of offensive security tools, and you've told us how dangerous these tools can be. And in the real sense, you've been able to simulate a real-world attack of different attack surface. I would like to commend you. I would like to tell you not to back down on what you do. These kind of skills that you've developed over the time, you should continue to put in the effort, because one thing I've come to understand is cybersecurity requires everyday reading, everyday study. Just like me, I read every day, I study every day, I try to stay abreast of the current cybersecurity information in order for me to stay protected. You see, so this episode have really taught us a lot that you can get cloned. And also on this episode, Daniel have been able to not only dissect the topic at hand, but he has been able to tell us how to protect ourselves. So I would advise you Just like last episode, we talked about the first protection against social engineering, against your devices, the multi-factor authentication. Today, again, Daniel has revealed it to us that big businesses, individuals, cyber experts, we should try as much as we can to implement multi-factor authentication. This is the best way to help our devices not to get scammed. Daniel, thank you very much. To all our viewers out there, thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for promoting this channel, this podcast. We appreciate your feedback and we promise you this is just the beginning, because the best cybersecurity experts around the world will be coming here and you will be learning a lot from them.